Hey everyone, hopefully you're having a good day. My name's Andy. My channel's Finding Value. Today we're going to do our daily technical analysis update of commodities. We're going to work our way through, like we always do, the dollar, yields, precious metals, and commodities and ETFs that I follow. And I'm going to give you a bunch of my financial opinions. A lot of these charts on the short term, just a reminder, they can flip back and forth very quickly. Short term is emotional driven. You are charting the herd mentality on short time frames. The shorter time frames, I think, are a little harder to trade. I do not trade the short term movements. I take the medium to longer term, which is 5 to 10 year time horizon outlooks. Something that you don't have to be worried if you're at work, if you miss a trade or something like that. That's not how I trade. I invest for a period of time, for a cycle or movement. So that's just want to give you an FYI. If you have similar interests on learning how to do that, you can definitely check out finding-value.com. You can use the word discount in the coupon code. Become a platinum member, and you can learn how to invest like that. Going back to the daily, so let's dive in. Let's see what's going on in the daily markets here. So we've got the DXY. Again, we've been hanging out around this support level. That's the white line down there. That's the support level. That's the support line that goes all the way across here that we have been coming back down and basically sitting on top of. We're bouncing off this. Which way is it going to go? And in all honesty, I don't know which way it's going to go. People have their opinions. Some people think the DXY is going to eat it through increased money printing, through the bonds that they have to release, the deficits that they're running, all of those things. Conversely, though, if we have increasing interest rates, that puts a floor underneath the dollar and it wants to go higher. So we've got conflicting things going on, and we're at support right now. That's where we're at. The 10-year yield rocketing higher, up 2.8%. Which way is this thing going to go? We've been chopping sideways here the entire time. Now, my viewpoint is, if we get underlying strength in the housing market, and if we get a little bit more inflation to kick up from commodities, I think this will go higher. If we've got a fear recession type move, I think we would see this go lower and drop down. Right now, I think it's trying to figure out which direction it wants to go, and it doesn't know which direction to go. That's also flipping us back and forth as investors, because I don't know which market condition we're necessarily in at this specific instance. Now, what I would say is we are in an upward move just because we came from that, and that's still intact. But are we going to shift? Are we going to change? Is the fear in the market? Is there going to be some recession? I can say that the housing market looks pretty strong, and I don't think yields can go down without reigniting inflation. That is my take on it. I know some people will disagree about the housing market there. But right now, it looks strong. We see deficits in the housing market. That's why we have no inventory. That's why affordability is very unaffordable. It's because of those conditions. And we could maintain a high level of interest rate for a while. That is a possibility. So we're going higher here in the short term. The TYX also went higher in the short term, which is the 30-year interest rate or yield. And if I were to take this and move this up, we are putting in a gigantic continuation pattern. We could break this to the upside. For TYX, TNX is doing the same thing. It's just kind of on a little bit bigger scale. It's a little dirtier here, but yeah, it's not as clean. But TYX definitely looks a little bit cleaner here that we could break to the upside. I could even yank this down a little bit further and clean it up off the closing prices of these guys. So we could see this break to the upside. What does that mean? It means that the inflation theme is still intact, in that people don't want to hold bonds. That's what it means. Bond prices selling off today. Again, this has just been chopping sideways in this area for the past few months. There it is. TYX TNX ratio coming back down a little bit, but gold being relatively strong today. It's shaking off the higher yields. It's shaking off the TYTNX movement lower. I think gold looks good to rip it here at some point soon, because I'm also seeing strength in the underlying mining companies as well. That's usually a first sign. The short end of the curve, the 2-year yield rocketing higher today, up 3.16%. So we have higher yields across the board. Is this a shoulder, head, shoulder that's going to develop, and then an eventual crash lower? Tough to say. But we'll see. We'll continue to follow it. The CRB index up a little bit, so just barely up today, just a little nub. This is definitely not a reversal candlestick. We have to see something a little bit different play out here. We've got the CRB to S&P 500. That is continuing lower. So we are continuing lower in this ratio. And to me, we could get a breakout to the downside here, where we get a break to the downside for the S&P 500 to rally against commodities and maybe even outperform it in the short term. So that looks likely. We've got gold slightly lower, which I think is actually a good thing. Gold is extremely strong given the increasing yields and the inversion of the yield curve. So this is behaving very well, looks fantastic for a move higher. Silver also just moving sideways, sitting on top of patterns, looks fantastic to move higher. We've got platinum also slightly lower today, down 11 bucks, but is still looking fantastic from a longer term perspective. And this chart will hopefully bust on to the upside. XAU to gold ratio outperforming today, up 1.25%. This is a reversal candlestick. I think that we could see the gold and silver miners roll on up. This is the sector that I would be looking at, is the gold and silver mining companies and potential investments around that. But this is a bullish engulf, bullish piercing, and we could see a higher movement there. GDX up a little bit today, up 1.56%, outperforming gold, which was slightly lower. So this is a positive sign. We could see gold head on up, hopefully, soon. And then SILJ also right on support, also looking very good down here, and I usually buy the backtest support regions. Crude oil up 0.7%. Again, this might have a little bit of work. We've got lots of selling pressure here. The up days are not as large as the down days. So I'm expecting a little bit of basing out before moving higher. That's a good possibility there. Also keep in mind, guys, your higher cost producers may not react the same as some of the medium to lower cost producers when the price gets to close to their break-even points. Just keep that in mind. Natural gas also looking better, up 2.17%. It looks like we're trying to do something, but still putting in a base. XOP, yeah, you know me, up a little bit, 0.77%. I want to see where this thing goes. I want to see some more buying pressure here. We've broken this to the downside, the trend line, and I would suspect that this is possible. Doesn't mean it's going to happen, but it's possible. But if we get more buying pressure and we start to see around this level some reversal candlesticks, yeah, I'm gonna change my mind in a heartbeat. OIH also slightly lower, even though oil was up, down 0.27%. I still think we've got some work here before we move on up. So I'm just being patient in the energy service and exploration production companies. Sprout Physical Uranium Trust. Oh my goodness. Look at this, guys. So we've got the bullish engulfing here, momentum up, small little bloody nose. And then I said, wait, let's see over the next week or two where this goes. Well, higher. This looks fantastic. Sprout Physical Uranium Trust looks good to move on higher. That's a breakout. Now, does that mean it will go immediate? Does not mean that, guys. We could very well pull back. We could get a bloody nose. We could do all that stuff, low profit taking day. Most likely it won't go straight higher, but you never know. It could. Uranium up 2.28%, a little bit of stretching the legs out for the bulls. Not a huge update, but it's, you know, it's a little bit. We are basing out here. We can see that the lows are coming up. That is a good thing. Now we want that momentum to continue. We want the momentum to continue. We're in this gigantic pattern. There it is. Squeezing on up. We could go even further if we want. But yeah, this looks good, and hopefully we can get momentum to the upside and break on up. Maybe all of those fears around uranium crashing are not valid, but I could eat those words very quickly if we get a big sell-off here. So we're still holding together. We've got TAN up today, 1.82%. Just wait for this to load. So we've got this, we're right there, right at support. It's a higher low. We'll see if this thing moves on up for TAN. We're still, I would say, squeezing right into the tip. This could easily come up a little bit. We've got copper up 1.5%. I actually like copper here, guys. That looks good. A lot of those, COPX copper companies, I think they actually look good right here. I think we're going to go and move on up. LIT also getting a good bounce here. Looking pretty strong. Big, strong day today, 2.5%. Finished strong. Looks strong. REMX also finishing strong today. Looking a lot better than the past few, trading days. But we'll see if that momentum can continue and if we can break this resistance line up here. That's our goal. SPX, big day today, up almost 2%. And we're right on that resistance line again. So let's see if that resistance holds. If we break to the upside, I think we're going to see an everything type rally, guys. It's possible. It is possible. And this is, we'll put on log, it's a shoulder, head, shoulder. And then hopefully we can break and move on up. NASDAQ up 2.4%. Looking strong, is strong, will be strong. If it wants to come up, there we go. Nice strong move there, right at support or resistance again, and we'll see if we can break to the upside here. Give it another go. Emerging markets up 1.35%. Let's hope that momentum can continue. We've broken the downtrend here. Now we just got to start breaking some of these resistance areas above us. XHB looking extremely strong. Go XHB, the home building index definitely looks like it wants to go higher, is strong. I don't know about the housing bears, but you're losing, guys. The home builders continue to build more homes, continue to sell more homes, and continue to make more money. So this index is looking really strong. Hopefully it can continue higher. MOO, I'm holding my opinions on this because we're still below this resistance line. I still think this looks like it could head lower unless the buyers step in here and show me they are willing to take this thing on up. Copper up 0.86% right on support. I like copper down here. That's where I would be looking. Diversified mining companies aren't looking too bad, and hopefully that can continue the strength. Lumber up 1.23%. For some reason, it just updated out of nowhere. I still think this looks good for a potential move higher. Just because this thing moves down, we're right on support. So let's see if this holds. And the new home builds are still holding strong. We've got iron ore that's down quite a bit. That's that gap. I said, hey, we could see it move all the way down here. I even left the arrow pointing up after we got down here to move on up. So that's where I think we're going to go first before moving on up. That is iron ore. Nickel down a little bit, 2%. Not the end of the world, but it is down a little bit this past week. We've got aluminum down a little bit, but again, more than likely, we're going sideways before the big move on up. Aluminum deficits out in late 2023, 2024. I think aluminum is going to go higher when that hits. Baltic Dry Index looking strong, guys. I think we're going to go higher and grind our way on up. I still think that looks great. I think Newcastle Coal's basing out. I think we'll eventually work our way higher. BTU, Peabody Energy, take a look at it. There's a pick for you guys thrown out. If you want to look, it looks strong right now, and it's at the bottom of a pattern. Just an FYI. Ethereum. Ethereum also looking good today, 2.88%, bouncing around. But I do think this will work its way on up. We are on top of a bunch of support. We also have BTC, inverted head and shoulders, that's broken out, and it's starting to work its way higher. The way that this thing is moving over here is very similar to dry bulk shipping on a longer time frame. So BTC is working its way on a shorter time frame than some of our longer term time frame commodity market moves. So that's what I've got for today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Give me a thumb up for the content. Subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to the website. We've got a 7 a.m. Mountain Standard Time Saturday question and answer session. Bring your questions. We're going to take a look at the companies. We'll take a look at the companies in uranium, see how they're doing. I know we've got some uranium buying going on. We'll see what they look like. We can check out a lot of the other sectors, see how they're doing. We can look at some ratios together and see which areas I would be adding into, at least. I can't give advice, but I can tell you what I'm doing since I'm not a financial advisor. And bring your questions about the overall markets. Go ahead and stump me. I'll find answers if you stump me, and I'll bring them to the next meeting if I can't figure it out. Most of the time, I'll have at least an opinion on it. And I've got my strategies. You can see what I hold, the companies that I hold, and we can go from there. So that's what I've got for today. Hopefully you guys are doing all right. It's sunny here, which is good because we've been overcast for a little while. So it's a good day, guys. It's a good day. We'll catch you next time. This is Finding Value.